I want to start with just talking about a margin mindset, and let's just define that. What is a margin mindset?
Well, we talked about that a lot in business schools. You only deal with the margins, right? And I guess a good metaphor is the ocean. It might be 3,000 feet deep, but all the waves are up in the top. So you're not really affecting that 3,000 feet. You're dealing with the waves, the margins, right?
Hmm.
Margins in business typically are gross profit margins and net profit margins, meaning of all the activity that's going on. The gross profit margin is what you have to pay your overhead and to contribute to profit, and the net profit is what you really did. So, not to say you don't care about the deep ocean, all the overhead, and all this, but what's really effective are the margins, and that's where your thoughts. It's not that easy to just say that, but that's where the action is. That's where you're what you're looking to affect.
Yeah.
So you and I guess a simpler way to state it is that the common problem of had a new prospective client in today, and I said, "How you doing?" He goes, "Great." I said, "Making any money?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, how much?" And he said, "Well, X amount of dollars." And I said, "Well, that's your net profit or your sales?" He goes, "Oh no, revenue, sales." I said, "Do you make any money?" What did he say, Khalil?
I don't know.
I don't know. Right? That's the opposite of a
Yeah.
margin mindset.
I
Right?
saw
He's dealing
something
with
good
the
about
ocean.
this.
That was today.
I saw something good about this. You shouldn't say I make X in revenue. You should say I do X in revenue.
Huh,
And then you're
that's a good point.
you make what your net is, but don't say, "Yeah,
Right.
we make 10 million a year." Well, no, you do 10 million a year in revenue. What do you
How much
make?
do you make?
Yeah.
I don't know. Got
Yeah.
no idea.
Well, that margin mindset, I think it's really just going into every decision thinking about what's left over. What is the margin on this? And it really deals with more than just pricing, more than just, what are we bidding on this job? It really involves how do we deal with time? How do we deal with capacity? When we're making decisions, are we looking for margin in all of those areas? Because at the end of the day, like, and I've been so guilty of this. Even I continue to do this. I underestimate what it's going to take, whether that's my capacity in a day, how many things I can get done on my to-do list in a day, what I have time for, how long something's going to take, or what it even costs. Like it's something that you have to be really intentional about building margin in. And I think even just in your life, one of my favorite books is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark
Huh?
Comer. And he talks about margin in life. Like, do you have margin as you go through your day? Do you have time to sit down and just breathe and have a cup of coffee on the front porch? Do you have time to read the book that you've had on your shelf for years? Do you have time to spend just telling stories to your kids about your childhood or about your parents? Or, do you have that built-in time for just margin in your life? And it goes the same in business. And I think a lot of times, especially when you're coming from a background that's as an employee and not an owner, you are accustomed to, you make this amount an hour or you make this much a year. And so you think that, as you go and you price a job, and you're charging someone, well, I'm just going to do it at that hourly rate. But that does not account for margin at all. And so, anyways, I
Right.
think that's the margin mindset, going in with thinking that, it's a overestimating thing where you're always building in margin to what you estimate, whether it's time, capacity, money, whatever.
Right. I agree.